Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 361, Dragon's Shocking Decision. Ace vs. Blackbeard, Part 1. Rommel Kingdom. Baltigo Island. This white soil island? So this place was supposed to be the main base in our war against the world government? Interesting. A weird smile appeared on Dragon's face after reading about these events. Brook, Crocodile, Kuma, and Ivankov, who entered the room a few minutes ago, all looked at Dragon strangely. For Brook, he wasn't part of the Revolutionary Army, but merely a link between the Revolutionary Army and the Hunters Guild. He was still part of the Hunters Guild and was also considered a semi-member of the Revolutionary Army. I've always wanted to build an organization that would bring together a lot of free people. At this moment, Dragon started to speak. The current dragon was not the famous dragon from the manga. He was still immature, a young man of 28. Far from his enormous strength in his 50s, far from the aura of the leader of the revolutionaries and the title of the worst criminal in the world. But here in the manga, he saw his future. Dragon's eyes reflected the face of his future self that was standing before the blue sky of Baltigo Island. I wanted to create an army of freedom. Kuma listened quietly, his expression unchanged since he entered this clean room. A big smile appeared on Ivankov's face while listening to his leader's golden words. Brook, who returned to his human form inside the art store, also smiled. Crocodile also showed a rare smile. The target of the Freedom Army I wanted to establish is to liberate the world. You might think that the world I am talking about is limited to intelligent beings like us humans. But no. Not only that. I want to liberate everything on the surface of this world. Our world has a spirit of its own. It is not an ordinary world at all. It's a magical world. The impossible can become reality in it. And this is what Rob showed us more than once in the many worlds he drew in his arts. He showed us how unique and exceptional our world is. But before Rob and his worlds appeared, I was guided by the world spirit to see the truth of it. Our world is ruled by people who don't deserve it. The Sea's world tried to use its fangs for resistance, but it was destroyed long ago, and the world still wants to break free of its chains towards a freer world. Towards perfect One Piece, all the races born of this world need to harmonize and live in peace with its air, soil, trees, seas, treasures, clouds, and magic in order to continue its development. But the world government made our world that was once walking in the footsteps of progress lagging behind. One Piece manga will eventually create that world that the world spirit wants. For that reason, everyone is watching this manga with endless passion. Dragon continued the long speech that he had never said before to anyone while the others heard him in amazement. Since they joined Dragon Team, they had never heard him speak like this before. Actually, with the One Piece manga here, we don't need to stand up and do anything. No need for a freedom army, no need for revolutionaries to appear in this world. Rob's appearance in this world will put it back on track. It'll never need to beat the drums of liberation again. The world is already healing itself. Dragon said his last lines with a soft smile, as if a great weight had been lifted off him. I no longer feel the need to play my part in this rubber plot. I finally have my true freedom. And you, too. Dragon looked at the group of men before making a shocking announcement. From this day on, I declare the dissolution of the Revolutionary Army. Before Dragon could finish his shocking announcement, Rob and a huge-headed man entered the silent room. No, Dragon-san. We still need your Freedom Army. If this world no longer needs it, then many other worlds are in dire need of it. Equals 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 equals. Manga events. Going back in time. 3 days ago. An event of great importance was about to unfold on an island. This is Banero Island on the Grand Line. Teach looked with hidden shock at the person who had arrived. Ooh. Ace. Commander Ace. Sitting on the roof of the wooden building, Ace was alarmed when he heard the evil bastard call him captain. Don't call me commander anymore. Only people who can respect others use that word. You're mocking me. Teach didn't care about Ace's values, but he quickly called him by his famous title. Oh, you're Fire Fist Ace. Yes, I am. Hello there. You have become a fine captain on your own, huh? Blackbeard Pirates, Captain Marshall D. Teach? Teach started laughing after hearing that. Zihahaha. What's going on, Ace? Long time no see. What's up? How did you know I was here? Teach was really confused about this matter. Just how Ace knew where he was? But Ace came straight to the point and made his intentions clear. Teach, let's stop beating around the bush. You've lived twice as long as I have, there's no way you don't understand the situation. Teach. All right. I understand. Then, let me ask you one thing. Ace. Why don't you become my Mangaka? Conquer the world with me. Ace. I've already planned how to do it. Whitebird's era is over. I will be the Pirate King. I'll finish off Straw Hat Luffy in Water 7 just ahead of here, and deliver him to the world government myself. Ace was shocked when he heard his brother's name. Luffy? What? HRMM. You know him? At this point, Ace wanted to kill Teach here and now at any cost. Looks like I really can't let you roam around. He's my younger brother. And of course, I won't be your nakama. Before Ace could finish his words, he was shot by the sniper Van Augur, but the bullets passed through his fiery body. The inevitable battle between Ace and the Blackbeard Pirates has begun. Van Augur and Jesus Burgess attacked but were easily routed by Ace. Equals 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 equals. Inside the Ohara art store, Rouge's hands holding the manga volume started to tremble. Teach. This evil bastard wants to recruit Ace? Oh no. They want to catch Luffy. Since Luffy and his comrades had already left Water 7 3 days ago. Does that mean that Ace succeeded in stopping the Blackbeard Pirates? Probably true. Ha ha ha. He wanted to become a pirate king, huh? What an ambitious person. The Roger Pirates continued to discuss current events excitedly. Most of them didn't know Ace's true identity as the son of their captain. Only members like Rayleigh, Gabon, and Odin who know Rouge's full name can link Ace to their leader and his wife. Everything will be fine, don't worry, my dear. Roger smiled sweetly at his wife, trying to comfort her. Do you believe Ace will win? Ace is very strong. Of course, he'll win. Roger was sure of this. Good guys always triumph over evil ones in the end. This is what Rob used to do in his stories. Chapter 362, Ace vs. Blackbeard, Part 2. Manga Events. While burned by Ace's fires, Teach began to howl and writhe like a pig. Gwa, hot, hot, hot. Hot. Captain. Captain. Even Jesus Burgess and Lafitte were worried after seeing their captain's condition, but Teach wouldn't allow them to approach him. Shut up, guys, and stay back. Zay ha. Shit. Ha. Ha. Zay ha 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 ha. Yeah, I know Ace. You want to kill me, right? Ace. At this point, Teach begins to confess everything, even the reason for his crime. You're right. Killing your own nakama is a big crime. I admit, I killed 4th Division Commander Thatch. Ace. I had no other choice. He had obtained the devil fruit that I wanted. Our ship's rule was that anyone who found a fruit could eat it. In this scene, a flashback shows Thatch holding a purple devil fruit while Teach stands behind him with horrified looks. I memorized all of the fruit shapes listed in the illustrated reference book, so I knew it was the fruit I'd been looking for right away. I was on Whitebird's ship for several decades because I thought his ship would have the best chance of obtaining that fruit. If I never got lucky, I had decided to give up, but then my nakama found the fruit. Ace's face dimmed after hearing all of that. Is that why you killed Thatch? And took the fruit? Teach's hands started to turn pure and malevolent darkness. Well, it was just a twist of fate. This ability chose me, Ace. Zihahaha. Now, I become the strongest with this, Ace. Look. This is something completely different from the rest of the Logia. Teach began to show his terrifying ability, as darkness began to surround his body like a tornado, desolate in cold darkness. Ace. Your body is fire, right? Zihahaha. I am darkness. Equals 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 equals. Aboard Moby Dick. Bastard. At this moment, Whitebeard crushed the void with his right hand, which cracked like glass. The sea on the starboard side of the ship shook and broke into many parts. A casual blow from Whitebeard caused a disaster. Fortunately, they were in the middle of the vast sea, not near an island. Is that why you joined me? For a devil fruit, Teach? Damn it! Whitebeard was truly angry. He had never expected that he would accept such a scourge as his son. Oh Yaji. Allow me to kill Teach. Everything is already clear at this point. Marco asked for permission. Yes, I agree with Marco's words. We'd better kill him now, he's dangerous. Jozu adds. All Whitebeard's sons began to demand the death of Teach, who was locked in the prison inside Moby Dick. Shut up. Whitebeard's voice was heavy and frustrated. Killing him now won't do us any good. He's weak and rickety and has no chance of escaping. Besides, I'm Whitebeard. I don't fear anyone. I'd like to see how far Blackbeard will go in the manga before I decide anything. I won't let him die so easily. Marco, Jozu, Vista, Fasef, Aizu, and the rest fell silent after hearing their pop's decision. Despite their anger towards Teach, it does not mean that they will not accept their pop's decision. Whitebeard nodded satisfied after seeing them accept his decision and calmly looked towards the vast sea. Go and treat his injuries, Marco. Vista, reroute the ship towards West Blue. We have to ask Sky Sword where Thatch is in this world. Marco pressed his hands hatefully, but he gave up and finally nodded. Understood, Oyaji. We'll see what kind of big event this battle was the fuse for. Red-haired warnings in the manga seem to be true after all, but how bad will things get, I wonder? Ohara. The teleportation room glowed, and two young men appeared in it out of nowhere. Ben Beckman and Yasop walked out of the private section and were surprised to see so many people leaving with excited looks on their faces. Most people seem to have finished reading the new volume. Ah. Are you ready? They are there. Roger Pirates. Yasop asked. Welcome, Yasop-san. And you? Once they exited the private section, they found the famous goddess's queen waiting for them. With gorgeous white hair, blue, jewel-like eyes, milky white skin, and an elegant and courteous maid's outfit, showing no revealing body part, Alvia stood with a look of welcome to the members of the Hunters Guild. After all, only the important or privileged members of the guild could use some of the features of the top-secret private section of the art store. And as expected, Yasop was one of those people Alvia knew. Hi, Alvia-sama. He's Ben Beckman. A new hunter. Yasop bowed respectfully to Alvia while Beckman did the same. Well, I remembered him. You're Shank's first mate in the manga, right? Your youthful looks prevented me from getting to know you at first. I'm sorry, welcome, too. Oh, no problem, Alvia-san. Ben Beckman was someone who loved women so much, but he couldn't show any misplaced intentions towards this kind lady in front of him. After all, she was his boss's wife. She and most of the beautiful women here. Come out of here. Ah, thank you. Alvia had led them to the tavern where Roger's pirates are before she left. Ace. So unlucky. Yes, facing the owner of such fruit is a losing battle for another devil fruit user. This devil fruit is terrifying. Darkness fruit. I wonder what the outcome of the battle really is. On the side, Rouge's face was very pale after seeing the end of the arc, suggesting Ace loses. His hat falling onto the ground without announcing the result of the battle was a hint of his loss. This. Don't say this is our son's loss, Roger. Rouge whispered with low voice, but Roger could hear it. Roger bit his lips. He didn't know that this scenario would happen. Don't worry, my dear, Ace won't get hurt, I'm sure of that. No, we have to ask Rob about it. We need to find him, he's the only one who really knows. Rouge. Calm down. No, I saw it 3 years ago. His heavy memories. It contained a bit of our son's bad fate, although I couldn't tell what kind of bad fate it was, I knew it was very bad. Roger. Is our son going to die? Chapter 363, Darkness Fruit. Teach's gazes bore the pride of the victor while he looked at the loser. Ha! Look! Nothing stands a chance in front of the darkness. Even your strength. Ha! The small village where Ace and Blackbeard were fighting each other was completely destroyed as it was engulfed in the flames or plunged into endless darkness. But really, it's a pity to lose your power. Ace. Come on and be my nakama. Zihaha. Sitting on the ground, Ace's complexion was paler than snow at this moment. He was breathing heavily as it was evident how draining he had been in this battle against a hideous dark fruit user. Despite all that, he could lose the battle, but he wouldn't lose his dignity. If I give in to the force, there'll be no point to my life. I will never leave any regrets in my life. Got that, idiot? Even though his face was covered with blood and sweat, the strong person's smile was still painted on his face. At least he didn't look more pathetic than Teach in this battle, who was still saying his nonsense almost every moment. Survival is all that matters in this world. Ha! What a shame, Ace. Die in the darkness. Die in Kai. At this moment, Ace also stood up, which terrified Teach, and used an amazing move. An enormous sun appeared above Ace's head, which was obviously his ultimate move for this battle. NTI. Zihahaha. Flaming light or darkness. Only one will win. Ace also left his last words to seal this losing battle. I will make Whitebeard the king. Boom! A terrific explosion occurred as the island was reduced to half dark and half blazing. The waves of the surrounding sea continued to collide in a stunning sight, showing just how intense the battle was. This was a power similar to that of admirals in the hands of the pirates. Without showing the result of the battle, Ace's fallen hat appeared onto the ground, as an ominous sign. Grand Line duel at Bonero Island. The battle between those two pirates was later described as the trigger of a very big incident in the coming future. Equals 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 equals. Holy Land, Marigoa. The arc ended with only that? Where's the rest? Why is this arc so short? I want more. I want to see more of Ace against Blackbeard. At least tell us the outcome of the battle. Why does Ace want to make Whitebeard a king? Isn't he already king of the New World in the manga? Papa. This is frustrating. Please do something. Go intimidate Sky Sword so that he can quickly tell us the outcome of the battle. Your dad can't do that, son. Why? Aren't we gods? Sky Sword has always been very respectful towards us, the gods. Right. Ah. Yeah. Within the domain of the gods' art store, the celestial dragons were in a state of frustration because they felt that today's volume was too short. In fact, it was so short after going through a hellishly long volume like Aeneas Lobby, it's obvious why they felt the volume was too short. But most people already knew that the number of chapters from one arc to another was different depending on the type of events. even some celestial dragons knew that. But most of them read One Piece chapters because they want to read One Piece chapters only. They don't care about those obvious points, all they care about is reading more chapters. But just what big incident was this battle a trigger for, I wonder? Ah! I want to know so badly. Let's ask those slaves in the chat group. Yes, this is a good idea. There are many intelligent analysts among those slaves. Yeah, that guy called Odaki always leaves theories that make my blood boil every time I read them. He's such a professional. Yeah, I heard this Odaki is someone close to author Rob. What do you know? Captain Morgan's theories are more accurate than he is. In the depths of Pangaea Castle, it was terrifyingly cold and gloomy air, for some reason at this moment. Anyone from the world government who comes within a 1,000-meter radius of the Lord's estate would freeze into a humanoid sculpture and shatter the next moment. Seeing so many human bodies shattered for no reason in the depths of Pangaea Castle made the world government agents who were seriously trained against fear feel panic. The most intense type of fear was the fear of the unknown. Do not come within 2,000 meters of the center of the castle, this is a high-level order. A masked CP0 gave his orders in a heavy tone to everyone in the castle before leaving. Currently, they were in an unfavorable war against the forces of the hunters who were getting stronger day by day, and now, this terrifying matter came up that they didn't even have the right to ask about. This is really stressful for them. On the empty throne, surely sat the most beautiful woman in this world. Her awesome beauty was one of the factors that made her precisely worthy of sitting on this throne, which was the mark of victory for the coalition of 20 nations against the former ruling kingdom. Being the person who was at the top of the alliance, she had the right to sit on it. In the future she will sit on something better than an empty throne. Just her bad mood caused the death of any life form that came near her. This fruit again. Why do you always pick rotten eggs from D-Clan? Even I am, who was almost omniscient, didn't know why the darkness fruit choose people like Teach from one generation to the next. The last one was that guy so confident of himself. What was his name again? Rox D. Zebek. Well, I have to destroy this rotten egg before another troublesome dark dragon hatches for us. The secret behind the darkness fruit, she was the most knowledgeable about in this world. Fufufu, maybe even my Robshan doesn't know how dangerous this thing is. Iam's bad mood is starting to moderate after she thinks of her Robshan. That good boy still surprises her every time. He's like an endless dark abyss of surprises. Maybe I should meet him again? Fufufu, that would be fun. Chapter 364, Red Hair Pirates Meeting. Inside a dark cell, 16-year-old Teach was lying on his back in a somewhat miserable state. His legs and hands were handcuffed with pure Kairoseki so that he couldn't move, and he was thrown into a corner after he almost died due to the violent beatings he had been subjected to previously. And he had been fed an ordinary Zoan fruit, model, donkey before. And that made him more miserable than the injuries. Actually, a bug like you deserves to die, but the problem with Oyaji is that he's too affectionate. On the opposite side, Marco's fingers had a blue flame on them as he ran over Teach's injuries. After hearing that, Teach's face darkened more and more, but he didn't say anything, as, for his current situation, his condition didn't allow him to resist. The most important thing now was to save his life. Yes, brother Marco, I am a bug. Cough. Shut up. Everyone on this ship knows who you really are. You don't have to act again. Besides, you're a donkey now, not a bug. Teach's eyelashes twitched after touching his sore spot again. Did you know? Teach. In the manga, you were able to achieve the target which you came to this ship for. The target which you have waited so much for and which you have always dreamed of. After hearing this, Teach's pupils shrank but soon restored to their normal size. But Marco, who was close to him, clearly noticed this. Everyone in the world knows this. Except for you. That's because you were beaten so badly by Oyaji before you could even see that. It's kinda your good luck, because if you had been in front of Oyaji a while ago, you would surely have died without a grave. Teach's body trembled after hearing Marco's heavy tone, which made him remember Whitebeard's angry face. This in turn made him feel extremely terrified. That person was a true demon, not a human. Here. I will let you see it. I want you to feel very frustrated that you won't get the chance to see yourself in such a grandiose form in the future. Marco has opened the manga on 2 pages, showing the scene when Teach demonstrates the hideous darkness fruit ability he stole from Thatch to Ace. Seeing that, Teach couldn't control his emotions, he wanted to reach out to grab the manga book but couldn't move. You killed Thatch in the manga. But before this volume, we had no idea who Thatch was, and what his role in our crew was. But now, we know who he is. He's our future brother. Who'll take your place later, Teach? Blackbeard in the manga seemed to be laughing and indicating that he had gotten a Logia fruit that had no similar in the world, in contrast to the current Teach. This is... Cough. Zihaha. Cough. This is what I wanted to be. Cough. Yeah, everyone can see that. But believe me, you won't be that person anymore. Your bright future that you intended to achieve on the corpses of comrades who thought you were their comrade too. You will no longer achieve it. After saying those last words, Marco threw the manga book at Teach and left the cell. He carried out the order given to him by his pops and saved the scum, who apparently still had a certain role in this new world. And he won't die until he finishes it. Ohara, Art Palace. Away from his crew members, Roger was embracing Rouge in a guest room that the couple occupied for the time being. Rouge's usually sunny mood was extremely restless and completely confused. While Roger was worried too, he still maintained his usual smile. Rouge. I'm your husband had been executed in the first chapter. Perhaps I should have died 2 or 3 years later because of the illness, from which execution was the only salvation. But now, do I look like someone waiting to die? Do you know what Rob said to me? He said my lifespan was extended by at least 1,000 years because of that immortality potion. Wahahaha. Something like this I could never have dreamed of before. I have always been ready and welcome with death. Death is part of life for us pirates. And Ace is a pirate too. So I'm sure he has the same idea. Rouge listened silently, in her current state not quite mature enough to resemble the stunning version of herself featured in the manga at the Marineford arc. But that doesn't mean she isn't smart. Rouge is usually very quiet, but since she heard part of Rob's inner voice using the unique ability voice of all things 3 years ago, she has completely changed, and this is what Roger noticed. She seemed more concerned about the future, an anxiety that began to diminish after living in the art store later. Just as my fate changed for the better, so Ace's fate can change for the better too. Ace's life in real life will never be like the manga, believe me. I know, Rouge said. So why? Roger was confused. I'm worried about Ace in the manga. And not Ace who hasn't been born yet. Ah. Roger was shocked. He hadn't thought of that before. No, he hadn't thought that way before. He was always more worried about the reality than the fantasy in the manga. Manga is not fiction. It's reality. No, it's the original and most perfect real world. Our current world is the one whose authenticity is questionable. Ohara, the amusement park. After the completion of the wonderful manga volume, the famous amusement park in Knowledge Island began to fill up little by little. On the west side of the amusement park, a huge whale appears from time to time and disappears after making fun sounds. This is where Roger's pirates gathered, who did not expect that they would come to have fun instead of participating in the war. You're too short, Captain. Shut up, Beckman. I'm not short. Ahahaha. You are not only short but also an idiot. Buggy pointed at Shanks and laughed so hard while holding his stomach. Actually, you're shorter than him, Buggy. It would have been much more fun if Yassop hadn't degraded his moment. I'll show you something longer. Your nose. Buggy's face turned red from anger, he really wanted to rush to smash his annoying face. Did you say my nose was red, you son of a bitch? $#$. Calm down, Buggy, he's just joking. Stop it and $$. Buggy was tied aside, and the trio of future red hair pirates continued their first meeting. So, we finally met. Yes, what a great moment. Fabulous. Shanks, Beckman, and Yassop all smiled before bursting out into loud laughter. Ah ha 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 ha. Ka ha 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 ha. Wah ha 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 ha. Chapter 365, Vegapunk joining. Ohara, Tree of Omniscience. Inside a room full of bookshelves where there are 3 poneglyphs next to each other, the poneglyph in the middle has been in this place for who knows how long. Many centuries passed by, but I don't know who brought it here. This information has not been recorded. As for the poneglyphs on both sides, Rob brought them here from Alabasta. Both contain historical information about Alabasta. But one does not contain only historical information. Cough. Is it okay for me to carry on talking, boy? Clover looked at Rob, who was standing next to Dragon, Crocodile, Brook, Kuma, and Ivankov, and asked him if it was okay to talk about this dangerous information before all these people. No problem. Rob smiled gently before nodding his head in agreement. Clover sighed in relief before continuing his speech. I don't know what made a great country like the ruling kingdom feel so intimidated as to hide the information of an ancient weapon in an ordinary poneglyph that only carried the historical information of the Alabasta country. Is it the world government, I wonder? What's so scary about the world government? Ha ha ha. Clover, yo, you must be kidding. You seem to have forgotten how terrifying the world government was in those years when you were protected by that monster. Did you forget your years of adventures and the previous 10 times you spent in the Navy prisons, huh? Clover froze upon hearing what the long-headed man beside him said. What? Do you wrinkle your tongue, Clover? Vegapunk adjusted his glasses while mocking his old friend. At least I didn't degrade myself to join the government, and I waited for someone to come along who could fight them. How about you? They had bought you just by a few berries. You know, scientific research needs money. Otherwise, I would have already joined Dragon in his honest cause. Okay, let's get over it. Can you read all these books at the Tree of Omniscience without your head exploding? Don't worry about his head, just let him read all the books here. Dragon spoke this time. The mind fruit that he ate is somewhat abnormal, and there is no limit to the amount of knowledge he can store in his mind. Even if his head exploded, he wouldn't die. He has a somewhat immortal mind. So the rumor about the mind fruit is true? Rob, who was putting his hands in his pockets, asked casually. What the rumor you talking about? Have you not heard of the awakening of the mind and body? It's said that if the user of the mind fruit succeeds in awakening it, he can break free from the shackles of the mortal body and live forever as long as he had only an active cell from his mind. Yes, I have heard of this superstition. But only someone who has awakened the mind fruit can prove it. Dragon said while staring at Vegapunk, waiting for his answer. You said it yourself, Garp's son. It's just a superstition. Vegapunk didn't want to explain anything about his abilities. After all, he hadn't awakened his fruit yet. What are you looking at, Crocoboy? Ivankov put his hand on Crocodile's shoulder in a friendly gesture which made the latter angry. Get your filthy hand off me. What? Aren't we buddies? Come on, Crocoboy, don't be embarrassed about our friendship. Fuck you. Dragon. I'm resigning from your revolutionary army if you don't want to disband it anymore. So this is the reason for everything. Ha! Useless piece of stone. Weird, isn't it? What's weird about that? Smiling, Rob pointed to the poneglyph he had brought from the royal cellar in Alabasta. You're standing in front of the poneglyph around which the plot of your life and your own destiny revolves. Don't you feel the hate? Don't you feel the complication? Crocodile was silent for a while before speaking. Do I still have a plot in this world? What is the point of my existence now? Will Luffy still be born into this world? Do I still have to lose to him and be a paving stone for the rise of the future Pirate King? Well, even if you no longer have any destiny in this world, we can just make another destiny in another world. Is that for real? I can't comprehend it yet. What do you think? Rob left the Revolutionary Army and Vegapunk to Clover before he left the Tree of Omniscience. He was exhausted from his trip to Egghead Island and Rommel's kingdom, so he wanted to take a temporary break from everything and enjoy time with his women and his daughters. The purpose of Vegapunk coming here is his desire to learn all of O'Hara's knowledge. Of course, Rob stipulated to join him, which Vegapunk agreed to in a flash. As if he was waiting for it. In front of the art palace, Rob finds Alvia waiting for him with Rouge and Roger. Alvia's creepy smile makes him remember the deep trouble he got himself into. In the past few hours, he's tasked Olive with deleting any tweets about Robin smashing Frankie's balls or banning anyone who went the red line in his tweet. All this so Alvia doesn't get angry any more than she already is. Welcome back, dear. Ah. Alvia. Is all thing alright? Oh, Captain. Rouge-san. You two are here, too? You must have finished today's volume. Rob felt deeply sorry for this couple whose son's tragedy saga was just beginning. Roger, Rouge, and maybe Garp and Newgate were the people who would be the most touched by the upcoming arcs in the manga. For that matter, Rob really had nothing to do to stop the bleeding. They must experience it as the people of O'Hara and his beloved wife did. Rob hugged Alvia, who did not refuse, but took the opportunity to pinch him and tell him in his ear in a low voice. Today I will punish you in bed. Oh, alright. Chapter 366, 2 Legendary Hunters vs 1 Gorosei. Part 1. Far from the Four Seas, in the semi-enclosed country of Wano. The celestial dragon ship stopped near Wano's waterfall. No need. I'll go on my own from here. But, Gorosei-sama. Our task is to keep you safe. The world government agent's voice stopped in his throat and he collapsed onto the ship's ground suddenly. You are 1,000 years too young to secure my safety. The bald Gorosei jumped off the ship and, using moonwalk, began to climb through the air toward the country of Wano above. I didn't want to come here again, but in order to obtain the ancient weapon to the Lord, I have no choice. This country must be destroyed. The bald Gorosei's speed increased several times and in the blink of an eye, he appeared on the beach of Currytown. There is an art store here, as expected. The Curry art store was evident to the bald Gorosei after he entered Wano. It would be annoying if that store noticed me. The bald Gorosei lowered his presence and started running with sorrow along the shore to get out of Curry province first before penetrating into the depths of Wano and going to the flower capital. Little did he know there was another art store waiting for him in the capital. Flower capital. Mihawk, who was sleeping on the grassy ground while enjoying the breeze, suddenly opened his eyes and woke up. Same for Isho, who was not far from him. Looks like we have an unusual guest, Hakushan. Isho stood and looked north from whence the enemy was coming. They'd just received a warning from the art store's spirit, Olive, about the appearance of an enemy, so their mission is finally starting to get more serious. Who might it be? I don't know, but I'm sure he won't leave this place alive. Mihawk, who had fought various strong samurai in the Wano country in the past weeks and honed himself more and more, was of course excited about the mission. Both of them got out of the capital using Shuunpa, which became a public movement technique in Hunters Guild after Mihawk first succeeded in developing it. Both of them didn't want to fight the enemy in the capital and cause unnecessary damage. After all, their mission was to protect the capital first and then the whole of Wano. The bald Gorosei, who was near the capital, noticed something weird. There's another art store? Weird. These two. Sparks flew after the bald Gorosei pulled out his sword. Near his neck, a big black sword appeared, but it was stopped in its path by his sword. Dracul Mihawk? The black sword wasn't his only threat. The bald Gorosei started to feel a great weight on his body. The gravity around him increased many times over. Swamp of Death, Isho? Interesting. 2 legendary hunters here in Wano. This is unexpected. You are a celestial dragon. No, more precisely, you are a Gorosei. What is someone like you doing in the country of Wano? Don't you realize you're talking to one of the bosses of this world, kid? Do I need a reason to enter a country? Mihawk restored his sword and retreated as he realized he couldn't cut through the other end, which was obviously a formidable swordsman. The bosses of the world. What a joke. This time Isho spoke. And although he couldn't see the other side's face because he was blind, he could recognize it. After all, he had seen his face in the manga. Well, I don't have time to discuss facts with two brats like you. I'll just finish you off here. The bald Gorosei removed the sheath from his sword and threw it away, then like a white flash, even under the effect of the gravitational field he moved at a speed invisible to the naked eye toward Mihawk. The lower number means you are the weakest, I will get rid of you first. Sparks flew again, this time near Mihawk's waist, which was nearly split in half. You have a really good sword. Are you qualified to use it? Maybe your manga version. But not you dash. When the bald Gorosei wanted to finish off Mihawk, who narrowly fended him off in the first place, his observation haki alerted him of the gravity sword, which split him in half. Hey, you're really strong, but not enough. The bald Gorosei kicked Mihawk's face and his body rose up, allowing him to dodge Isho's attack. Boom! Lucky for Mihawk, he was sent flying after the bald Gorosei used him as a springboard. The ground collapsed and was destroyed by the powerful gravity after Isho's gravity sword touched it. Although you are blind, you are really strong. As expected from a gravity fruit user, this devil fruit can make a powerful admiral. But, as I said, it's all useless. Mihawk and Isho both fell to their knees in very critical condition after an intimidating fight. Blood covered their bodies and many wounds were opened, while the bald Gorosei still kept his clothes clean. Suddenly, the bald Gorosei noticed the disappearance of the sunlight on the battlefield. He raised his head and watched this huge thing that was tumbling toward the ground with dead eyes. TSK. That's bad. The people of the flower capital raised their heads with despair in their eyes to see many flaming meteors falling from the sky directly toward them. Little did they know that while they are sitting safely in their homes, a fierce battle is underway to defend them. A battle between legendary hunters and a member of the Gorosei. Both ends roughly represent the peak at their poles. This is undoubtedly why their battle will be devastating, to say the least. Boom! 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 The sound of explosions continued to engulf the whole of Wano, after which shock waves from the meteor collision appeared to spread out, engulfing everything in sight. At this moment, two golden barriers appeared on both sides of Wano, preventing the shock waves from spreading and destroying everything. The destruction was confined to the battlefield only. Chapter 367, Two Legendary Hunters vs. One Gorosei. Part 2. The moment the golden barrier that surrounded all of Kuri and a large part of Kibi and Udon appeared, the Akazayas knew something was wrong. Fortunately for them, the existence of an art store in this country cancelled all the shock waves and earthquakes that were enough to give a very devastating blow to the Wano country. What the hell is going on to Guzaru? Kinemon was shocked and horrified by the scene that came from the center of Wano, the flower capital. Even from this distance, everyone could see the chaos of their kingdom. Suddenly, the screen of the art store that usually transmits anime episodes appeared and blurred an accurate picture of what exactly was going on at the battlefield on the outskirts of the flower capital. A living hell appeared in that place, volcanic lava replaced the river separating Kibi province from the flower capital, traces of meteorite explosions, and massive smoke rose into the sky. On this chaotic battlefield, Isho, who was carrying the unconscious Mihawk, stood outside the golden barrier that he was preparing to enter at any moment to retreat away in case the bald Gorosei reappeared. The second golden barrier surrounded the flower capital, Mount Fuji, half of Kibi province, Hakamai province, and Ringo. The only place that was not protected by both barriers was the battlefield, which was a few kilometers across. It's Isho-san and Mihawk-san. Oh my god, what is going on? They are clearly on a battlefield. Who is the enemy that could push them to this state? Is such an enemy here in Wano? Come on, let us go to the battlefield. You don't have to worry about the safety of the residents. Two barriers are now protecting every soul in Wano. The fiery fox Kinemon took out his sword and raised it to the sky. Being honorable samurai, they won't turn back when they saw outsiders fighting for their country. Let's go! Same for the rest of the Akazaya, Kakunajo, Denjiro, Reizo, Ashuradoji, Kawamatsu, and even Kenjuro. So the Kuri guards mounted their horses and hurried to the battlefield. On the other hand, the samurai and ninjas of the flower capital and Ringo province think the same. They couldn't hold back at this moment. There is danger threatening their country, but two legendary hunters stand up to protect them without backing down. They wouldn't be the proud samurai of Wano anymore if they didn't go to the battlefield. Fukuro-kuji. Yes, Shogun-sama. Lead the Anawabanshu to the battlefield to secure the safety of Isho and Mihawk. Kazuki Sukiyaki decisively gave his order. At your order, Shogun-sama. On the battlefield. From under piles of burnt rocks emerged the bald Gorosei. This time his clothes were not clean. After all, he had been directly bombarded by 5 meteorites the size of at least 20 meters. Not bad move. With this level of destruction you are fully qualified to be an admiral in the Navy. How about that? Isho, why don't you defect to our side? The winner of this war is clear from the start. No enemy can live after declaring war against us. After hearing this, Isho smiled before speaking. The dark world you made was the reason why I blinded my eyes. When I thought I would never see the light in this world again, Rob came and brought with him a bright sun whose radiance covered the whole world, allowing me to see it again. In this life, I will not betray his trust even if it was at the cost of my life. Are you dash? Well said, Isho. The bald Gorosei's words stopped in his throat after hearing the voice that just spoke. 30 minutes ago in Ohara. At this moment, Rob was talking to the couple Roger and Rouge, and trying to explain the events of the last volume to them without spoiling any events. He only gave them a few signs. He didn't want to say it directly, but he really wanted them to mentally prepare for what was going to happen at the Marineford Arc. Warning! The island where stores number 17 and number 77 are located, Wano Island, is currently being invaded. Would you like to run a complete self-defense system? Ha! They've finally moved? Alright, turn on the partial self-defense system and let Isho and Mihawk get into a real fight. Understood, Master. Well, Rouge-san, you don't have to worry too much. Ace didn't die in this battle. I won't tell you anything more than that. Please don't ask me again. Rouge looked at Rob with hateful eyes. She really wanted to slap him so hard she would make him spit out everything he knew, but it seemed like she couldn't. I'm really busy. A friendly kingdom is being invaded right now. I'll go check it out. What the friendly kingdom you talking about? This time it was Roger who asked. Oh, it's Wano Kuni. Wano. That's bad, let's go fast then. It's Odin's country. Don't worry, there are 2 legendary hunters out there as well as 2 art stores. Even if it was bombarded by 3 ancient weapons, it would never be harmed. Ha! Goodbye now, tell Alvia I'll be back for dinner. Chapter 368, The Strong Swordman in the World. Rob walked out of the flower capital art store in Wano, and to his surprise, he didn't find anyone inside. Even the store goddesses who were assigned to this store. The art store was empty right now. Of course, everyone outside was looking at the giant screen showing the battlefield at the moment. All the people of Wano wanted to see the wonderful people who were fighting the enemy who wanted to destroy their country. Well, maybe that vision from little Shirley will come true today. Anyway, I'll take precautions first. After leaving the art store, Rob turned into bolts of lightning and disappeared before anyone could notice his arrival. Rob was moving at lightning speed towards the battlefield. He quickly disappeared from the capital city and passed the Golden Barrier, and entered the chaotic battlefield the moment Isho was talking about the impossibility of betraying his trust. Well said, Isho. Now, you can retreat inside the barrier. I will take care of the rest. Rob knew Isho's personality well, so he wasn't really surprised by his response, but that doesn't mean he wasn't happy about it. When Isho heard Rob's voice and sensed his arrival with observation haki, he sighed in relief and nodded with a smile. Well, boss. Isho was still carrying Mihawk on his shoulder as he retreated inside the barrier, which did not reject him due to his identity as one of the hunters. Only hunters and art store employees could pass freely through the Golden Barrier. No one else could unless the people who Rob allowed them to. And now, Gorosei-san. Did you intend to recruit one of our employees? With a thick face, Rob was lecturing Gorosei about morals after he had just recruited the best scientist in the world who already belonged to the world government, who they've had paid already a huge sum of billions of berries to him to advance his research. Not only that, he had even kidnapped a vice admiral of the navy and recruited him in the end. You damned bastard. Don't think we don't know about all the people you pulled from our side to your side. The bald Gorosei regained his composure after his nerves got a bit frayed by Rob's sudden arrival, but he couldn't control his anger afterward after Rob claimed morals in front of him. Is this fucker making fun of him? That little bitch Stussy, the goddamn giant Saul, the goddamn revolutionary dragon, the family of fallen celestial dragons, Don Quixote homing and his wife and their children. And let's not forget all the good seeds that were supposed to be our allies, but you bastard have already stolen them. The bald Gorosei was furious while mentioning these names. Oh, take it easy, buddy. I really didn't recruit these people, it was they who wanted to join me. The bald Gorosei pointed his sword at Rob at this moment. The white samurai sword looked extremely dangerous as it was surrounded by a kind of white haki unlike any other. Ryu. And the advanced level in that. Did your origin from Wano country? It's none of your business, the massacre you committed against the celestial dragons in Sabaody. You will pay for it today. We have always been very lenient with you because you have been giving us good pleasure things, but your arrogance is beyond all bounds. Rob pulled out Surajiri's sword from its inventory, removed the scabbard, and pointed by it at the bald Gorosei as well. A heavy purple glow started spreading from his body and surrounding the sword, the exact same thing that the bald Gorosei had done. The aura surrounding the two people at this moment made the air tremble, and countless lightning bolts appeared in the sky. This wasn't the result of a collision between two Conqueror's haki users, but something even more ridiculous. This scene of what looked like a collision between two Conqueror's haki users colliding was due to an extremely heavy armament haki spreading into the surrounding air from both opponents, resulting in an effect similar to Conqueror haki. You are really very strong. The bald Gorosei had calmly admitted Rob's qualification to fight him. But strength isn't everything. Before he finished his words he had already moves. His move looked like white lightning that disappeared from his place and appeared near Rob the next moment. But the same for Rob, the two sides met halfway. The moment the two swords collided, the whole of Wano was shaken. The people who wanted to provide support could not pass the golden barrier, but at this moment, they were thanking the gods that they could not, because if they did, they would only be killed by the shockwaves only. Kinemon and the rest of the Akazaya stood watching the battle from behind the barrier with utter shock on their faces. It's Rob-sama. Kinemon cried out in shock. Same for the Shogun Anawabanshu and the samurai of the Shimotsuki family from Ringo, who was frozen in their place after seeing the aftermath of the battle between Gorosei and Rob. The sky above Wano split into many parts every time the two swords collided. Back on the battlefield, Rob was fighting with a relaxed smile on his face, while on the other side the bald Gorosei was sweating profusely. He was holding the sword with both hands while Rob was holding Surajiri with only one hand. But even so, Gorosei's bald hands were bloody and he seemed to have some broken bones. It was evident that he was suffering in this battle. Yo, Gorosei-san. What's your name? Rob asked. Why are you asking? He gritted his teeth while took the time to catch his breath. In this battle of swordsmen, he'd lose completely. Before that, he had never thought that the so-called strong swordsman in the world would be better than him in this domain. But the truth was right in front of his eyes now. Oh. Forget it then. Rob regained his indifferent face. So let me rephrase the question. Did you come here for Pluton? You know about it. As expected. You really should die. Gorosei-san. You have to change your mindset because the times have already changed. Rob sent out an ordinary sword slash, but it smoothly cut through space and arrived before the bald Gorosei. An extremely colossal fallen angel whose body looked like a prop between the sky and earth wanted to slash his body with a giant purple sword. A fear he had never felt before attacked the bald Gorosei's soul at this moment. Angel of Doom. With that leaves 4 Gorosei and 1 Lord. Chapter 369, Rob vs. Emu. Before he turned back, Rob's eyes narrowed at this exact moment. On the opposite side, when the bald Gorosei thought that he who had lived for several centuries would die in this way from an opponent who did not even take him seriously, but at this moment, a weird abnormality occurred in his body. A thin hand came out from his chest and easily grabbed the deadly slashing attack. The illusion of the colossal Doom Angel quickly dissipated after that. A swamp of shadows like a black hole appeared below Gorosei's body, making the latter feel extremely cold. After the hand, the whole body came out. She was wearing a black robe that only covered her back, while her pretty red skirt and fishnet stockings were revealed that added a lovely touch to her long legs. The long golden dragon crown on her head seemed to be just an additional accessory that added to her elegance and prestige. Ima came out in all her glory at this moment. Thank you for saving my humble life, Lord. The bald Gorosei fell onto his knees and started to thank his lord again and again. Your mission here is over, it's okay to come back. While she was saying that, she was still looking at Rob, who put his sword back in his inventory and put his hands in his pockets and just watched intently. Was it fun to bully my slaves, Rob-chan? Rob did not want to talk to the scary woman until now. He did not know the depths of her strength and mystery, and he did not succeed in obtaining a useful amount of information about her in the first meeting. But he knows she wanted to kill him on their first meeting, which is why Rob was sure she'd want to kill him on their second meeting, too. But was Rob afraid? You're not afraid of me? What's the reason for that? Did your newly acquired strength give you confidence? Did she read his thoughts? So weird. What's so weird about that? Everything in this world has its own rhythm, even humans, the only exception is me. I don't have a rhythm of my own, because I am in control of everything in this world. Rob wondered at this moment if this crazy woman was using an advanced ability of the voice of all things. Emo started moving towards Rob. When she reached in front of him, she placed her hand on his cheek and softly touched it. Why do you think I want to kill you? Her human eyes carried a weird kind of warmth that gave Rob goosebumps, while the third eye seemed to look at him indifferently as if he was just a pebble on the side of the road, completely unimportant. Rob grabbed her hand and removed it from his face before finally speaking. Let's settle everything here and now. This will be your only chance to kill me, because if you don't, I will be the one who'll kill you. Oh, your fierce side really tempts me, fufufu. Okay, let's see what you'll do. Rob's hand, containing a frightening amount of highly concentrated lightning, was reflected in Emu's eyes. Rob targeted her heart and used an attack similar to Chidori's, using his lightning fruit. The power of this attack was able to kill an admiral protecting his body with all his armament haki. She didn't move and let him attack. Rob's hand, which had turned white due to the intensity of the lightning surrounding it, slammed into Emu's chest but didn't penetrate it as it should have. Rather, Rob's hand stopped awkwardly. He was holding her breast. Is she weren't wearing a bra? Is this what you've been wanting to do all this time? So you're like Sanji? If you had told me about your desire earlier, I would have allowed you to do whatever you want with my hot body. Her mockery did not affect Rob in any way, as he was thinking about why he had not penetrated her body and killed her. Was that haki? No, he didn't feel any armament or conqueror haki. He was still holding her right breast. It was completely normal. Other than its abnormal size, there were no signs of armament haki on her body. So what was the reason why he couldn't pierce her chest with an attack that could pierce even Kaido's body at his peak? Rob removed his hand from her breast and acted as if nothing had happened. His skin was that thick. It was fortunate for the bald Gorosei that he had already left and had not seen this scene, otherwise, he would have been very angry. But Rob completely forgot that this battlefield was being broadcasted live at Wano's art stores. The residents of Wano saw what happened very clearly. No one knew who this beautiful woman was, but they knew that she was very strong, as they watched her with their own eyes as she saved the Gorosei from certain death. At this moment, the air around Rob started to change. It became heavier as if it was using a gravity fruit. A green-black light surrounded him, and when it disappeared, Rob's appearance completely changed into a demonic version of Ulquiorra. Can you get the strength of the characters you draw? Interesting. The air around Emu was starting to become heavy as well. As if the sky sensed what was coming, a massive storm started sweeping across the sky above Wano. The sky above Wano turned ink black at this moment. Even people in Hunter's Island and New Onigashima Island could see the weird storm. Huge red dragon wings appeared behind Imu's back, dragon horns appeared on her head, and her hands turned into sharp, short sword-like claws. Her current form looked beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Come on, Robchan, let's have fun together, fufufu. The moment the two sides collided, the world shook. Chapter 370. The battle that almost destroyed the world. All over the New World regions, all the pirates and islanders could see two colossal auras colliding with each other again and again. One is green dark and the other is red dark. They covered all the sky of the New World and were extending to cover half of the planet of seas little by little, and then will engulf the whole world in a battle that no other battle could reach its intensity. The green dark and red dark colors looked like a beautiful aurora, but the people who saw it knew that it was a harbinger of disaster. Because everyone can see the intense black color that is found in the Far East. On the battlefield. Back in Wano, the people here were trembling with fear right now inside their houses. Even being inside the art store's barrier didn't give them that sense of security. Because what they are witnessing at the moment is beyond anything words can describe. The land that was not protected within the two golden barriers disappeared a long time ago and turned into a black abyss that crazily sucked in the river water. Rob transformed into a fearsome and terrifying devil with a power that even Imu had to defend against it. Imu's anticipation of the future could no longer locating her terrifying opponent's location. But even so, the enthusiastic smile never disappeared from her pretty face, it just kept getting bigger. What she was seeing right now has completely exceeded her expectations. Rob's strength was much greater than what he showed that day when he countered Uranus' attack with his body. Of course, because Rob was fighting using the unlimited spiritual power that he got from Ulquiorra template and his physical strength as well as his fearsome haki, all this allowed him to fight Imu with fierce competition and even press her to her back foot. In this battle, Imu was displaying the abilities of several Paramecia-type devil fruits, each one more dangerous than the other. Rob did not recognize any ability from them. But by using his overpowering spiritual power, any curse-like ability was cancelled out every time it started to affect his body. All these are thanks to his second transformation. Resurrección, segunda etapa. The moment he used that form, the battle situation completely turned in his favor. It was fortunate that he made the precaution perfectly, or he would have caused a real catastrophe after releasing his true despair form, because the enormous spiritual pressure could instill despair in the souls of those around him. Ordinary humans would only die of despair at his presence. Imu have haki that was indescribably stronger than him, to the point where he could compare the strength of her haki to his immense spiritual power in the form of true despair. That was why she was showing such a shocked face at this moment. Imu rose in the air using her dragon wings, after successfully tackling the massive Oscuras, and she gazed at Rob intently. Rob looked like a devil from the abyss with black bat wings the same size as hers. He wasn't wearing the white coat he wore in the first transformation but rather revealed a white stump with a bare chest pattern so that his hollow hole seemed to be dripping a black liquid resembling blood. His waist became covered in black fur, it covers his arms and legs, his fingers have grown claw-like extensions and his feet are claw-like, too. His iris has turned yellow and the tear-like marks under his eyes have grown larger and turned black, his hollow mask has disappeared and white horns have appeared on his head. The number 4 Espada tattoo on his chest is no longer visible either. But his most distinctive feature is his long black tail, which resembles that of a devil. Isn't this Ulquiorra's second stage form? You can use it, too? No wonder you got so much courage to declare war. Can you use the power of Yawach, Aizen, and Ichigo, too? How about Maruam and Netero? Imu asked casually. She wasn't really interested in knowing the answer because in her eyes, even if Rob could use those characters' powers, he wouldn't beat her so easily. You seem to admire my creations very much, Lord of the Empty Throne. A cold smile appeared on Rob's face. His true strength was not in his strength ability, but in the creations he had transferred from his previous world to here. Emo gave a thumbs up indicating he was right. Tell me, why do you want to take Pluton from Wano? You already know it's useless against me, even you couldn't hurt me let alone an ancient weapon. Oh, I don't mind answering your question, Rob-chan. But aren't you a little smug? An enormous pressure of conqueror haki, the likes of which Rob had never felt before, spread out from Imu's body, causing the surrounding air to crack in a scene similar to the effect of Whitebeard's ability, Quake Fruit. Under the protection of his spiritual power, Rob was unaffected by this frightening release of conqueror haki, but that didn't stop his eyelashes from twitching. How long had this woman trained her conqueror's haki to reach this level? In front of this level, Shanks and Roger were just little kids still crawling in front of an adult. Even his powerful conqueror haki could not break through the void like glass. Ah, I see. Your spiritual power in this form is strong enough to withstand my haki. Well, you're really good, Rob-chan, fufufu. So, can you survive this? Let me see. The world around Rob began to close in a weird inky blackness. Even Wano and the surrounding sea were pulled into a weird vortex that began to accelerate little by little into a galaxy-like ellipse. The enormous drag force is hundreds of times greater than the gravity fruit. This is a black hole? No. You can't go on like this. Rob didn't want to see her finish her move because he saw a terrifying future. The formation of an actual island-sized black hole in this part of the world is no joke. This attack can destroy the world. What the hell? Does such a devil fruit really exist? Lanza del Relámpago. Even his voice was swallowed up in the black hole that was forming bit by bit. Using his spiritual power, Rob formed a green energy spear that looked like an enchanted arrow on both sides. He didn't want to use this attack in battle, but now, he had no choice. He didn't hesitate to throw it at Imu, who was busy pouring her strength and focus into creating a perfect black hole. The spear formed a powerful and beautiful scene in the air and headed straight for Imu, who had already seen the future and froze in the horror of the future scene. She decisively stopped what she was doing and disappeared into a tiny black hole. She ran away. Lanza del Relámpago passed through her original location and exploded at the center of the still unfinished black hole, followed by a devastating explosion. Boom! Like the explosion of thousands of nuclear bombs in one place, everyone in the world could see and feel the consequences of the explosion. The new world has plunged into devastating chaos. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.